Hi, this is Bob Woodfin, Bob Woodfin Photography and Rowlett, Texas Photography Club. And I want to talk about today about lookup tables. Lookup tables are LUTs, as you may have seen them referred to. They're just a synopsis or a combination of a bunch of adjustment layers. Now, basically, they're kind of like a preset in Lightroom or Camera Raw, except you don't have the ability to go in after you apply them and make changes to them other than changing the opacity or adding a blend mode or something like that. But you can create your own LUTs. First we'll look at some of the LUTs that are out there, and then we'll talk about how to create some for yourself. So we have this particular picture. This was shot in Missouri recently, and for some reason I just like to shoot up trees like this, and I think this is a good image that we could start with. So you have, if you go to down here to the adjustments icon and open your adjustments, your color lookups are right here. If you open that up, you're going to come up with this properties panel, and there's not really a lot to talk about here. I don't really use any of the different ones like the abstract or the device link, which means you have to go out and grab your own. But the LUT file is what I typically will look at. So you make sure that you have this radio button selected, and you have the three different layer or drop downs that you can look at. In the LUT files, if you click on there, you've got, these are basically just a bunch of presets that come with the application, and they're different looks. So basically, for example, if I want to do fall colors, I click on this and you get kind of a fall color look. It brings it down here as an adjustment layer, just like any other adjustment layer. You can adjust the opacity, change the blend mode, but you can also adjust using this mask. So if you decide that you want the top of it to look that way or certain areas in there, you can mask out the other areas. But again, like I said, you can use a blend mode if you want to make this multiply, you want to go down to screen, whatever, soft light, and apply this that way. You can do that. In this case, I probably wouldn't want to do that, but you could also do multiples of these. If I wanted to take this and take it down to like maybe 30%, something like that, and then create another one, go add another lookup table. You know, you could do this just like you do with any others. If I wanted to add a foggy night, for example, you could take that, and maybe that's a little bit out of here, but you could then take it down to 20%, and then you have the combination of these two. You could see that you've added just a little bit of a dim look to it. But that's basically all there is. You can have the different looks and continue to add those. I could go in then and add other adjustments, such as if I want to do a levels or a curves adjustment or a photo filter on top of that, or color balance or something. Of course you can do that, but that's all there is to doing that. Is, you know, just going in and selecting, and basically you would need to go in here and look at these and see which ones appeal to you. And there, you know, here's late sunset. It gives you this kind of a look. I'm not sure that's so late sunset, but that's what it's called. Bring the opacity down if you want to apply just a little bit of it, something like that. You know, just go in and look at those and see if any of them appeal to you. At least you know they're there. If you have a particular ones that you like, then maybe you want to use those whenever you get into a certain situation. You can have in the back of your mind that, oh, I've got these LUTs out there and I can go try these and maybe do a combination or something of that nature and get a really cool signature look for yourself. Now, you also have the ability to create your own, and basically to do that you need to make sure that you have a layer that looks like this. It's not going to be your, well, what I recommend is when you come from Camera Raw that you bring it in as a smart object. In this case, we can't bring it in as a smart object. If we do, let's go back to our original file the way I brought this in. If you you click on history, I brought it in and I added some filters to it. Well, you can't create your own LUTs with this kind of a base layer. So what you have to do is come over here to layer, and I had all of these, had you to turn all of these off, but if you go in and just say show all layers, you can go into new and background from layer. You may have the ability to do that over here, although I don't see it. So so you can definitely come over here and just click layer, new, background from layer, and what it's going to do is it creates your background layer with and locks it. You have to have that in order to create your own LUTs. Excuse me. So the next thing that you could do to start creating your own LUTs is come in here and do some adjustments. For example, you may want to do levels. You may want to darken the midtones or brighten the midtones a little bit to give it a little bit of maybe a little bit of punch, and come in here maybe with the levels, excuse me, not a levels, curves, and give it a little bit of more contrast by bringing down the darker tones and bringing up the lighter tones. Gives it a little bit more contrast. Then you may want to come in here and just for grins we'll give it a photo filter to warm it up a little bit, and then we can come in here and let's just give it a lookup, and the lookup we're going to give it is going to be this foggy night, and we'll take this foggy night and take it down to about 20%, so it just adds a little bit of a cast in there. And then on top of that we can add another one, and I'm just playing here, you know, just trying to create a look. And we'll come in here and let's just add this edgy amber, which going to give it a really orangey look. And again, you can bring that down to about 20%. And it gives it this kind of a look. Maybe this is not really what you're looking for, but this is kind of how you build it. You create your own look using adjustments like this. Once you get a look that you really like, you could even come in here. Let's just come in here, do one more, do a solid color adjustment. And we're going to give it kind of a bluish look, something in the neighborhood of a blue-gray, something like that. And then, you know, tell it we want it to be, say, multiply, and then we bring it down, give it kind of a bluish look. It's kind of a dark look. Maybe 25%. Something just like I said, you get the look you want. Once you finally have the look you want, you can come over here to File, Export, and then Color Lookup Tables. And you can click on Color Lookup Tables, and it's going to ask you to give a description of your lookup table. So you can just call it whatever you want to call it, and I'll call this Bob's First Lookup. And we can put a copyright in here, and I encourage you to do that in case you give them away to anybody or anything. And then lowercase file extensions or uppercase file extensions, I don't pay any attention to that really. Recommendation is to go to 64 high. I don't really know what the difference would be if you didn't, but I think it gives you a little bit. If you're using very high res images, the high 64 high gives you a better look. That's just what my understanding. You click OK, and it's going to want you to save it somewhere, and you can go in and wherever on your desktop or wherever you save your stuff for Photoshop. I'm just going to put it in pictures, and I'm going to create a folder called Bob's LUTs. LUTs. Okay, and then you can even create subfolders and so on, but now we're going to name it, and we'll just call this First, just for grins, and you save, and it goes through. Okay, so now you have this. Now if I come in here and turn this off, which you can press your Option or Alt key and click on this the eyeball here, and it turns everything else off. And now if I want to apply that lookup that I just created, I come in here and I click the lookup, come up here and click this Load 3D LUTs and Load 3D LUT on top of that. You're not going to select one of these because these are ones that come seated. You'll click on this and it opens up your lookup or your folders, and you come in here and select oops, select your file, and I don't know that there's a big difference between the three of these. I always choose the cube. You notice that when we created it, you had, I should have pointed this out, you have 3 selections down there. I could have just created a cube and none of the others, but I went ahead and created them all. And I'll show you that when we create another one here in a second. But I click on this and say open, and it's going to apply that LUT. So there you are. That's what we applied. That's what all of these did. And we turn it on, turn it off, or I could take all of these and put them in a group like this, and then turn it. Oh, they're all turned off. That's why. Turn them all back on. So you have that, or you have that, and it's exactly the same thing. So that's how you create your own color lookups. Then if you get into a situation where you really like something, and you have it in the back of your mind where you've created, and again, it's only with adjustments. You can only do this with adjustment layers. You don't, if you have anything in there where you've pushed around pixels or you've applied filters to it, anything like that, it cannot be part of your color lookup table. So just keep that in mind. It can only be these adjustments. So if I come in here and create another one, let's just create another one for grams. We'll make it real simple. We're going to turn this off, and I'm just going to apply 2 things. We're going to come in and I'm going to apply a solid color, and we're going to do that blue again, something like that. And then on top of that, let's take it down to 20%. We're not going to apply blend mode this time. We got it 20%. And then on top of that, we're going to come in here and apply this. Actually, we should have applied the foggy first. I'm going to do the foggy night. We're going to take it to 20%. It's already kind of a bluish color, but now I'm going to take it and put it underneath here because I want, that didn't really make any difference. So anyway, this gives us kind of a bluish tint. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to do File, Export, Color Lookup, and we're going to call this, description will be light blue haze. And again, you've got your copyright 64 high, and here are the formats that I was talking about. This time I'm only going to select cube, so I'm going to turn these off, and you'll notice that it's only going to create the one file, and that's probably okay. You probably don't need all these other files. I'm not really sure what those formats do for you unless it allows you to be able to use it in other applications. Maybe it allows you to do some other things. I'm not really sure, but that's a little bit more advanced than we need to go. So I would just select cube, turn those off, and then select light, and we're going to call it, we're going to go back to our pictures, back to Bob's LUTs, and this time I'm going to create a subfolder, and we're going to call it pastel light colors. So I can kind of consider that a little bit of a pastel color. We'll call this light blue haze. Okay, so it's created this light blue haze, and now when I take these and turn them off and take that and apply that color lookup, and again we'll go select here and select the load 3D LUT, and then I'm going to come in here and select this. See, I only have the one now, and probably that's would make it a little bit easier. There's no reason to have all 3 of these unless you have a certain ability to use those other 2, which I'm not aware of. So I click open, and now we have that light blue haze. And I like that light blue haze, particularly if you're looking at something like this. It's a portrait. So now you go, oh, I like that light blue haze I created, so let's just go over there and see if it works on this image. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And you click this, you come over here, light blue haze, open, and you have some kind of a light blue haze on it. So is that good? Is it bad? I'm not really sure. But anyway, you get the idea. This is how you use lookup tables. This is how you create your own lookup tables. You could even take this and add another lookup table that happens to be one of the one of these seated ones, you come down here and select a different one, Moonlight maybe it works for you. Change that to a screen, and then you have a little bit more of a blue on top of that. See? So that's just the way you use them. And the only thing you can really do with these, now that you have them and you bring them in, is either adjust them with the mask, change the opacity, or change the blend mode. Other than that, there's really not a lot you can do. So that is the way that I wanted to explain to you how to use lookup tables. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.